Here we have the inside of the Elddis Majestic 135. If we firstly come to the main control panel just here, we can turn the 12 volt on. Beside this we then have the button for the water pump. So firstly make sure that your freshwater tank has been filled and then press the turn on, and whenever the pump is running a green light will come on and then go back out again once it turns off. Beneath we have the main isolator for all of the onboard lights. They can all then be individually turned on and off on their own switches. And then we have awning light on, awning light off. This button here lets us know the condition of the leisure battery, and then this button here lets us know how much fresh water we have on board. Beneath we then have the whale control panel for the heating and hot water. You'll see here we have water heating at the top, and if I begin to press the button it will go over a series of icons until it eventually goes back to off again. If we start with the first icon, we have a little snowflake, which is the boiler's frost protection mode. So if you have water in the boiler but you don't necessarily want to be heating it, you can put it onto this function just here, and if the outside temperature drops below 3 or 4 degrees it will just come on to avoid any damage. Next we have a single wavy line. Wavy lines represent main supply, and I always just round it up, so we're using about 1 kilowatt. We then have main supply at 2 kilowatts, so you've just got 1 and 2, just dependent on the amperage of the site you're on to stop yourself from tripping. We then have gas on its own, and then we have dual fuel. Dual fuel is extremely handy, especially in the colder winter months if you want to get hot water instantly. So we have mains at 1 kilowatt and gas, and mains at 2 kilowatts and gas. Whenever you are consuming gas you will get a little flame just appear where my finger is here, and if there's a problem in any shape or form with the water heater you will get a little red exclamation mark appear where my finger is now. To find out what the problem is, just press the water heater button and then you'll get a series of little red lights appear, and then within the manual it will tell you what the problem is. If it's an easy fix and you can rectify it, you will then need to reset the control panel, and the way we do this is just by holding the button down and then pressing the plus button together, and then the red exclamation mark will go out. But I will now just put it back onto 2 kilowatts on the mains, and you'll see that the flame will go out in a moment. Next we have heating, and it's very similar to water heater. So if we go back to off, we have a single wavy line, and again that's main supply, but this time using about 500 watts. 2 wavy lines is about 1 kilowatt, and then 3 wavy lines about 2 kilowatts. We again then have gas on its own, and then dual fuel, and then we can control the temperature on the plus and the minus just here. Well, recommend dropping all the way down to the little moon if you need your heating on whilst you're asleep. Thus the fan is quieter, and secondly it's only a low heat. And if it is just a very hot day and you just need to circulate the air, you can drop all the way down to the little snowflake just here, and then back off again. Next we have the hob. So we have the electric hot plate just here, and that operates just here, and the red light comes on to let you know it's in operation. Everything else is then gas, so it's push in, twist, and then push the igniter just down here. As you can see, beneath we then have the oven and the grill. Push in to the left for the oven, and if we then push in to the right, we can then fire up the grill. Beneath you will find a plug at the back, which is just for the electric hot plate, and then you will find the majority of the gas isolation taps just here. They are all in the on position, and they can all stay like that. They're more for maintenance than anything else. I always say if you smell gas in the van, just go to the source and turn the gas bottle off. Beside it you will find the consumer unit. So we have the individual MCBs, the main RCD and test button just here. So if something's not working on main supply, just check to see whether or not you've tripped here. We then have all of the 12 volt fuses, and again they're all labelled up. And then beneath that we have the isolator switch for the automatic tank heaters. So the fresh and the waste tank have tank heaters built in. If there's water in the tanks and this switch is on like it is now, if the temperature outside drops below 3-4 degrees, the tank heaters will come on to prevent any frost damage. Above the hob we have the microwave. It is always advisable to make sure that the contents are removed for travel. We have quick start just here and stop, rotation for time as well, power setting, defrost, all up here. And the microwave is just plugged in the overhead cupboard just beside. If we now go into the washroom, we have the basin and the shower, and then the Thetford toilet. To open to the cassette, slide the grey lever just here and then push to flush. Level indicator just here to let you know when the cassette needs emptying. Do make sure that the lever is closed again. If this has been left open and you try to remove the cassette from the outside, it will not remove. We then have the Dometic fridge. It's currently in the off position just here. If we now turn, we can run on mains electricity if we're connected up on the little picture of the 2-pin plug. We then have 12 volt maintain on the battery, so this will keep the fridge cold when the engine is running. You do need to make sure that the fridge has already been pre-chilled before travel. And then lastly, gas. So if we have no main supply, we can run on the gas supply. Turn to this, come to the temperature control, hold it in and then press the igniter. What we want is this little line here to drift out of the white into the green. as soon as we turn it to something else, it will then automatically put itself straight back out again. We then have the fridge and the freezer box. And then the travel catch just at the top. This can also be used by clipping it into the next little notch here to vent the fridge when not in use. Light switches just here. This one for the back top lighting, and then this one for the washroom. If we now come into the wardrobe, we have the television aerial just here. So the white box is the digital amplifier, so we need to firstly make sure that this has been turned on, like so, and then we make sure that the boost is set as good as to maximum. After that, we then just want to undo the collar at the top here and then raise the mast and then lock into position. If we do need to do additional tuning, we can rotate the part here to flip it from horizontal to vertical if required. Once we've done this, we can then turn the telly on. Obviously, as you change location, it will need to be retuned, and this is its fast retune button just here. Then we have all the usual bits that you find on most televisions now. We have the TV guide just here. This also comes with a DVD player in the side and USB connectivity on the top. Also in the wardrobe you will find the solar panel regulator. We do not need to do anything with it. The coloured light will just let you know what it is actually doing. So at the moment it's letting us know that the leisure battery is as good as fully charged. So we've got a solid green light. Whenever it's popping a charge in, it will steadily flash green. If we now go underneath the bench seat, you will find the location of the boiler itself. Currently the boiler drain valve is closed, holding water in, and that's just on this little yellow lever just here. To drain the water out of the boiler for winterization, all we need to do is make sure the water pump is turned off and then literally twist it like it is now, and it will then drop all the water out of the boiler. To refill it, put it back into the position it now is in. Make sure you have water in your fresh tank. Turn the water pump on, and then the water pump will begin to reprime the boiler back up again. You will need to open your taps up. They will cough, they will splutter. Just force all the air out, and then once all the air is out, then reclose, and then the boiler will then fully reprime itself. Under the other side, you will just find the location of the second leisure battery that has been fitted, and then we have the back of the main battery box just there. We can use this back bit here as a large storage area if we want to. All we need to do is remove the cushions, And then once we've done this, we can then raise up like so, and then we can clip in to place just here. And then we can then drop this part. To drop this part, you'll see we have a lever here and a lever here. You do need to take the weight off it just by slightly lifting up, and then you can then push it in. And then drop it out of the way. And we can obviously do it on the other side as well. And you'll see that we have tie down points for larger items. Now we've flapped this out of the way, you can also see just tucked here the main 25 amp fuse for the 12 volt system. Above my head we have the PIR sensor for the alarm. Just press it from time to time just to make sure that it is functioning correctly. It does require batteries. It's also advisable to make sure the carbon monoxide alarm and the smoke alarm are also operational. And then lastly, in the ceiling here we have the Omnivent fan. To use this, we firstly need to wind the roof up. And then once we've done this, we then have the on-off switch in the middle. And then we have arrows out for extraction and arrows in for cooling. Variable fan speed just by pressing. And then make sure that the roof vent is back down again for travel. The water pump is located just down here.